If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Well. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is Wednesday, as per usual, when this show airs live. If you are listening live, I'm so glad to have you here. I would love to have you come play with us in the chat room. The chat room is an interactive board where you get to post questions and comments and just have so much more fun. And you can always, of course, join us in the chat room, and you can call in with your questions or your comments. Whatever's going on for you, I would love to contribute to you, and I love interacting with people because, you know what, even though we're on the radio, we love to hear what's going on in your world so that we can contribute to you. Not only myself on my show here, but on all of the shows here on the network. We just have such a desire, huge desire to contribute to others and to really share with them what we see, what we know, and invite them into new possibilities. And we, as much as all of these hosts know something, you know something too. So we would love to hear what you know. So tonight on the Inspired Choices Radio Show, we are talking about dreaming, about dreams. Are your dreams big enough? That's a kind of, it sounds like a wishy-washy little airy-fairy topic, and yet it's not. It's not at all. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a radio show host here on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm also a possibilities coach, and I love working with individuals who are stuck, who kind of hit a wall and they're not sure which direction to go in, where they maybe feel perhaps they're lacking something, which I know is a lie. We're not lacking anything. But to give someone the support and the guidance and to invite them into expanding their world is something that it lights me up. And when I'm working with an individual regarding business, perhaps, or perhaps a relationship, whether it is expanding into a place of ease with relationships that no longer fit, or maybe it is actually looking at becoming more visible in the world and stepping out there in a way that they never have before. Whatever area it is in your life that you desire greater, I love working with people who are looking forward. We all have these places and spaces in our lives where we feel stuck or we feel like we can't quite get out of it. There's nothing wrong with that. But let me ask you this question. Are you someone who is looking forward? Are you someone who is knowing, okay, right now I feel like I'm in quicksand, but I know that's the direction that I want to go in, the forward direction? If that's you, I would love to speak with you. I give everyone their first half hour as a complimentary session just to see what's going on for you and if it would be a great fit between us. I have one-on-one sessions both in person and over the internet. As well, you can purchase just a one-time session, or you can go forward into a package. I have several packages. You can check out everything that I invite you into, all of the services that I have on my website, inspiredchoices.ca. So inspiredchoices.ca is the sister company to Inspired Choices Network. And I am, besides being the coach, I'm also the owner and the founder of the Inspired Choices Network, and I couldn't be more proud and more joyful because, you see, my friends, this right here, the Inspired Choices Network, is one of my big dreams. So we're going to be using the Inspired Choices Network and what has been created here as an example in tonight's show. So I also also, in conjunction with all of those things, I also work with individuals regarding energy work. I do energy work with their bodies. I run body processes as well as bars, which are modalities out of the company, the modality called Access Consciousness. So I do a lot of varied things. It really makes me happy to have choices to do all sorts of different things. And I just wonder, what is it that I could contribute to you? What are you looking for? What are you desiring to have to contribute to where you'd like to go? Please do connect with me. As I said, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. You can email me, and you can, of course, find me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. You name it, I'm likely there. I do get around. So tonight, let's get to it. Are your dreams big enough? Dreaming, wishing, hoping, desiring, imagining, what's it all about? Dreams are something we have, and dreams are something we often dismiss. I'm seeing that more and more in today's society. Why are we doing that? Are you buying a lie that because 1 or 1,000 of your dreams didn't come to fruition, you needed to make them smaller? That is absolutely crazy. You don't want to do that. You don't want to dismiss it or try to control your dreams or cause something really crappy to happen when you do that. So tonight we are going to discuss how to bring your dreams to fruition and actually how to pump them up. So tell me something, my friends. What was the one thing? Do you remember the one thing that would be said to you when you were in school? And you'd be sitting there, and you might be looking outside out window, or you might just be looking off into space. And what was the one thing that your teacher would say to you? Billy, stop daydreaming. Right? Stop dreaming. How many places, how many times, pay attention, exactly Rhonda is saying in the chat room, how many times in your life have you been told to stop dreaming? Stop dreaming. Okay, can we really get down to brass tactics on this? Why the hell would we tell someone to stop dreaming? One of the biggest reasons I know of is because people in this world have concluded and decided that dreaming is wishy-washy, that dreaming is actually not focusing and making something occur, that you have to stop and pay attention and get into focus and stop dreaming. Now, let me be really clear. I am not saying focusing is wrong, because I can talk about focusing as well. But if you cut off the dreaming, just like if you cut it off, really great English today, just like if you cut off focusing, you're going to be eliminating a portion of creation. Whenever you begin to eliminate things from your life, whenever you conclude and decide that you don't want to have something be part of your life, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to push that away. When you start to do that, you literally start to push away the energies of possibilities. You never have to eliminate anything from your life, from your reality, from your awareness. You don't have to choose it. But if you lock it out, if you conclude that it's bad or wrong and you push it away, you are also pushing away other possibilities of where something can actually contribute to you. If I'm in the car with you and all you ever are doing is dreaming and you're not focusing, I might be a little scared of what's going to happen when you're driving, right? If I am in a relationship with you and we are let's say we're building a house and we want to build a house, and you don't go into the energy of dreaming of the possibilities or dreaming on what it might look like and tapping into the things that turn you on and light you up, we're going to create a home that is going to be heavy and hard, and it's not going to have a joyful contributing energy. Again, don't cut off any aspects, especially, as we're talking about tonight, your dreaming. There is a difference between dreaming and imagining and envisioning and the pie in the sky holding on to a wish like you're squeezing it to death. There definitely is a difference in that, okay? The wishing energy is oftentimes, I don't believe it, and I'm holding on to it for dear life. What would it take for this big, huge wish to come in? And the wishing energy is very different from a dreaming energy. So the wishing energy oftentimes can be this space of, I really don't believe it, and I'm not going to take any action. I'm just going to sit over here, and I am going to hold on to this wish for dear life. And I'm going to hyper focus on it. So it's literally like having blinders on. That's all you're seeing. And when you have those blinders on, when you've got that energy of wishing on something, you cut off receiving new possibilities and new awarenesses for what you are desiring. So just check in on your desires. Check in on what you are imagining you would like to have and create in your life. Do you have a really intense wishing energy on it, or are you in that generative energy of possibilities? You know, a lot of times when you are in that wishing energy, you start to go into fear. And we start to pick up on the energy of, it's not going to happen for me. It's not going to happen for me. It's not going to happen for me. But maybe if I wish hard enough and I hold on to it, it's going to happen. What's the predominant energy in all of that? The predominant energy is lack. So we know, if you're listening to this, if this is not your first show here with me tonight or with anyone really on the network, we know that when you are in that energy of lack, and that's where your focus is, and that's where your predominant energy is, that's what you are going to attract to you. Everything is energy. Every single solitary thing is energy. So we know this, the universe, you know, this has been proven by scientists. So if you're somebody who's like, show me the facts, scientists have proven everything is energy. And it is also proven that where we vibrate, where our energy is vibrating, will attract the same. This, again, has been proven in science, okay? So if your energy is on the wishing, i.e. the lack, you are going to be vibrating at that same level, and you are going to attract into you more lack, okay? So what is really important is check in on that. It's not right or wrong. If that's where you're choosing to be, okay. If that's creating what it is that you desire, great. Me and no one else should be telling you it's right or it's wrong. But if it's not actually having you in a joyful state, if it's not actually bringing to you what it is that you desire, then you might want to look at that. You might want to ask some questions and maybe, just maybe, allow someone else to contribute to you who can really see maybe the rabbit hole that you've gone down. Because you know what, guys? We go down rabbit holes. We get lost. I've gotten lost many, many times. And thankfully, when I've gotten lost, I've had fabulous people there who have had my back, and they've asked me some questions in a kind and gentle way. Let me ask you this question. Are you willing to be vulnerable with the energy of your dreaming? Are you willing to be vulnerable with your desires? Are you willing to be vulnerable with the energy that you are and what you are creating? Wow, a lot of people do not want to go there. I can just perceive all of that. They just all like, screw this, I'm tapping out. Guys, vulnerability does not mean that you're going to get hurt. Vulnerability is really about presence. It's really being with what is in front of you. What's going on for you right now? Are you willing to be that vulnerable to look at where you are, to look at what you're creating? There has been so many times in my life and in my business where I wanted to avoid the hard stuff, the tough stuff, the stuff that would make me just burst into tears. And every time I would be in that space of avoiding, and I'm just wondering, all of you out there that are not willing to go to vulnerability, I'd love you to ask yourself this question. When you are avoiding going into vulnerability, is it gone? Or is it ever more present because you're trying to avoid it? Yeah, exactly. When you are trying to avoid something, it's like popping its head up everywhere you turn. You begin to hear people talking about it. You begin to see posts about it on social media, or you hear something in a movie. And truthfully, if you have a desire on your heart, but you are doing the opposite of it, you're doing everything to avoid it, I can tell you, your desires have greater strength than your avoidance energy. It may not feel like you are bringing into fruition your desires, but guess what's going to happen? As you have those desires on your heart, your body, your being is going to be poking at you in many different ways to get you to pay attention, to get you to the space of being willing to look at what you're doing and to change it. Now, I'm telling you, you can go lifetimes of completely avoiding a subject like vulnerability. Nope, I don't want to get vulnerable. I don't want to put my heart out there. I don't want people to know how I am. Yeah, I know people who have done this their entire lives. I had an amazing father in my life, and he's been gone for many, many years, but he worked very hard to be strong and to be tough and to be dependable and to do the right thing, but he didn't want to get vulnerable. He didn't want to show what was truly going on in his heart. And because he didn't want to show that, he had to try to stuff his feelings and his emotions down. And he did that through drinking. He did that through avoidance. He did that through, getting really busy and working hard and separating from people. He did a phenomenal job of not being vulnerable most of the time. And then there was these moments where he would become so vulnerable that everybody in the room our hearts would just pour out with the tears because we could feel so, it was so tangible, the emotions that were going on with him and how much he was trying so hard not to crack open, and yet he couldn't avoid it anymore. So how many places and spaces are you actually avoiding cracking open to what's really going on for you? And in avoiding that, how much are you actually locking out your dreams? Really creating what it is that you desire. Really stepping into that. Okay, my friends. There is a great deal of energy here. There is a great deal of like this, I don't know if I want to look at this. I don't know if I want to get deep with this. You know what? It's so, so important that we keep diving into this and we keep looking at this, because this area of our lives cannot get greater if we're not willing to look at it. And we're not willing to seriously be in the space of vulnerability with all of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're going to go to a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to dive more into the dreaming and what this really looks like and what the possibilities are for us to dive into and how dreaming can contribute to us each and every day. You are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, everyone. Can't wait to see you back right after this short commercial break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around. So tonight we are talking about dreaming. And the question really is, are your dreams big enough? So before we went to break, we were talking about vulnerability. And Elfie in the chat room is right. The whole cracking open business is not for the faint of heart. It is not for people who are not willing to get uncomfortable, to get to that space of vulnerability. When you get to that space of vulnerability, it's like pulling away all the layers of distraction, all the layers of what is it that we are not willing to have, and what is it that we are absolutely going into avoidance around. When we are seriously when we are seriously going into avoidance, when we are seriously going into I'm not going to look at this, I don't want to be with this, we will do, and our brains will do a ton of stuff to go into distraction. We will do distraction like crazy. So tell me something. If you are going to create something and you start to go into distraction, how much are you actually going to be able to continue with your creation? Right? Have you ever seen a child, they're playing with something and all of a sudden they see a shiny ball and they're just off and they go in another direction? Yes, Alfie says avoidance is disconnecting from yourself. Right. So avoidance and distraction can have you massively be disconnecting from your dreams. Big time. So are you avoiding getting vulnerable? It's a great question. Am I avoiding being vulnerable in my life? Am I avoiding being vulnerable with what is on my heart, with what I truly desire? You know, as I said, there's been so many times in my life where I didn't want to get vulnerable because I very easily can go into a very deep feeling space, and my emotions can, you know, my mom my mom still does. She's still in body. My mom would say all the time, has said all the time, you're either laughing or crying, Christine. Yeah, I am a big ball of energy. I definitely wear my feelings and my emotions very clearly out front of me. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But what was really important for me was to start to dive in deep and to get really deeply into this piece of vulnerability and being willing to look at what it was that I was desiring and where I was operating from that was cutting off creating what I desired. And as I began to do that, as I began to really step into what is here and what's coming up without judging myself, that's the key. It's like, okay, I'm in the midst of tears, I'm talking to someone, whatever's going on, and allow the tears to come up without doing the avoidance of it, and be curious in that moment, not go into the judgment of me, and know, my friends, that when we start to go into vulnerability initially, especially if you've been doing massive amounts of avoidance, you might have like a massive explosion of emotions blow up out of it, like a pressure cooker, okay? Because you've been holding it down for so long. The more you do it, the less likely you will have this massive explosion, okay? So when you are willing to get vulnerable with what's going on, then you can start to really make the impact with your desires, with your dreams. Now, here's where I want to get to with this vulnerability piece. A great deal of us will have these big dreams. Like imagine when you were in school and you started to dream about the things that you wanted to have and they were so big, right? And as they would start to populate in your mind, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to do this when I grow up, and I want to have this, and this is the kind of car I want to have. And how many of us started to share our dreams with other people, right? And people started to say things like, oh, you need to get real. Do you see where you come from? Like, seriously, you think you can have that? Who do you think you are, right? People start judging us, right? Or maybe they say something like, be realistic. How many people have had people say to you, be realistic? Well, what does that mean? Being realistic is based on that person's perspective, that person's point of view of what, quote unquote, is real for them that they're trying to impose upon you. They're actually projecting their points of view of what you can actually have, be, and create based on where they're coming from. That has nothing to do with you. So if you have dreams, if you have big dreams and big desires, please, please, please share it with someone who will be your biggest cheerleader. Share it with those people that know that when someone puts skin in the game, when someone gives it energy when someone lives in the energy of possibilities and they do focus and they don't give up and they are tenacious with their vulnerability and they keep on their path of staying in the joy and moving in the direction of their targets. They know it can be created. Those are the people you need in your court. And if you don't have those people in your court, you need to get new people in your court. I'm not even kidding. You have one person out of thousands that's like that, stick with them. Have them have your back. Seriously. And if you've got nobody, go to the mirror and look at his face or her face in the mirror and talk to her and give her the cheerleading that she requires and desires. It is fuel for your dreams to have someone go, I know you got this. I know you can do this. I absolutely know that no matter what, you can make this happen. That's the energy of possibilities. That's the energy of knowing. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think the big creators in the world, the people that created amazing art, the people that have created amazing architecture, the buildings, the amazing freaking buildings in the world, people that have created phenomenal, technology in the world, people that have created like tunnels under the ocean, do you think that they were being realistic when these thoughts started to come to them, when they started dreaming about possibilities? Do you think they were being realistic? Hell no. What is real is what is in front of you right now, what's already been created. And when you're being realistic, you're looking at what already is here. And if you're a dreamer, welcome, my friends. I'm so glad to have you here. If you are a dreamer, you are dreaming of the possibilities of what else you can be, create, have, enjoy. Being realistic, there's nothing wrong with being realistic. Like, I'm driving my car in a huge frigging storm. The possibilities of getting in a car accident are high. That's a great time to be in realistic energy. Okay, what do I need to do to take care of me, right? But being realistic is recreating what is already here when it comes time to dreaming. How many of you desire something greater in your life? And you know what? When you are in the energy of dreaming, when you are really in that space of dreaming about something that you absolutely know is possible, and you know how you know it's possible? Because it starts to light you up inside. Your body starts to give you information. How does your body give you information? Maybe you start to get excited like I do. Maybe you start to jump up and down. Maybe you start to move and dance and play. Maybe your body just gets tingles all over the place. Maybe your body wakes you up in the middle of the night with all of these ideas, right? That's how you know you are in the creation energy with your dreams, right? When you are in that energy of possibilities and these ideas are coming forward with you, you are receiving. Dreaming is receiving the possibilities that you and your body and your being know can be that is not as yet. Are you willing to drop all of the realistic points of view when you are in the space of dreaming? When you are willing to play in your dream space and you're willing to receive what you absolutely know is possible, you can start to create a new reality. And when I talk about a new reality, I'm talking about what you have in your life, what you are enjoying. You know, back about 6-7 years ago, before I started in radio, I was, I'd been, college graduate. I've had, worked in the human resources field. I had done that for many, many years, was being quite successful. Money was coming in. I built my own home. I was traveling some. It was, I was starting to expand. I'd been realistic, and I followed that path, right? I followed that quote unquote, this is how you do it path in this world. And there would be some joy to a level, and then it would kind of go flat. And then I found myself in the doing energy, right? It's just like the same thing. You get out of bed, you go to work, you do the same thing, you come home, and it's just like same. And there wasn't a level of excitement, and there wasn't the dreaming energy was not in my world when I was there. And so I knew that there was something missing. So if you're in that space of same old, just check on the energy. Check on your joy energy. If you're not having the joy energy, something is missing, because our natural state of being is joy. That is the absolute truth. Your natural state of being is a joy. And if you don't believe that, watch children. Play with children. The only time children are not in their natural state of being is when they're either hungry or they're sleepy, right? They get into that state. But 99% of the time, a child who is free to be and do whatever they like, their natural state of being is joy. So if you are in the doing energy and you're not in that joy energy, there is something missing. There is something from your life that you are not adding in, that you're not making space for. Is that dreaming? Have you stopped dreaming? Have you stopped allowing yourself to expand in to the possibilities of your imagination? Have you stopped inspiring yourself with your own dreams? If you are not allowing yourself that space of dreaming, that space of imagining possibilities, you are cutting off receiving. Dreaming is receiving possibilities. Dreaming is being open to things that you've never imagined, have never been in your world before. Dreaming is going into that space of creating, because everything comes to us first through awareness, through thought. Nothing has come into actualization before it came through awareness and thought. Nothing. It all has to come that way. So if you are desiring greater, ask yourself, am I open to dreaming? Am I open to playing in those dreams? And then I just heard everybody say, yeah, but. How many yeah buts are you using to shut down the dreaming in your life? The yeah buts are all the reasons and justifications and the realistic examples of where that just didn't pan out. Oh my gosh, my friends. We are so shooting ourselves in the foot when we're not open to new possibilities. And yet, how many people do you hear day in and day out complaining? Go on social media and you will hear people complaining about what they don't have and what they want different. And yet they stay in that energy of lack. They keep looking at what is not there, and they're not willing to actually jump into the energy of possibilities, into the energy of creation. When you are being, quote unquote, realistic all the time, you're shutting the doors down. And when you are willing to have more, when you're willing to play in that dreaming energy, that's when things that you still don't have an awareness of can start to come forward. Okay, we are going to go to our second break of the show. And when we get back, I'm going to talk about little dreams and big dreams and how we are actually turning down our dreams because of decisions and conclusions. So you are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. And we are talking about dreaming tonight. Stay tuned, my friends.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Okay, my friends, thank you so much for being with me tonight, where we are talking about dreaming. Are your dreams big enough? Now, what did I mean with that title? Are your dreams big enough? So many people begin to ask about their dreams, and they start to step into, okay, I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to make this happen. And as they start to do this, kind of like learning how to ride a bike, learning how to do something new, as they start to step into this, oftentimes out of the gate, they don't hit a home run. Now, has that ever occurred with you? That you started to create something and you didn't hit a home run, so then you went into conclusion that, oh, it's not meant for me. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should just ask for something smaller. How many of you have started to turn down the intensity of your dreams and your desires because they are not coming to fruition out of the gate? Have you ever done that? Have you ever been in that space of going, well, maybe I shouldn't be so greedy. Maybe I shouldn't expect so much. Maybe I should just, be grateful. I'm sorry. There are times when the word grateful makes me want to gag. Maybe I should just be grateful for what I have. Always be grateful, for sure. But don't use that as a crutch to turn down your dreams. Don't use that as an excuse that being grateful and just holding on to what you have is being a good girl or a good boy. All right? That is bullshit. Dreaming expands possibilities. Being willing to step into your dreams, being willing to have and create what on some level you know is possible, actually contributes to the world around you. I cannot imagine where we would be technology-wise today, just one example in technology, if people had turned down their dreaming. You wouldn't be listening to my beautiful voice across the airwaves. We wouldn't be connecting with people all around the world. I have somebody in the chat room right now who is in China. And there's no way that I would have ever met this beautiful being, this beautiful person that I have the honor of calling my friend and a host, Alfie Joe. She has a show here on the network called Musical Magic with Alfie Joe. I would have never met her had it not been for technology. These people did not turn down their world. They continued to step into it and ask the questions, what else is possible? When you keep turning your dreams down, you pull the air out of your dreams. You are abandoning your dreams. You're giving up on your dreams. You're not allowing your dreams to contribute to you creating them. Everything is energy, and every single solitary thing, like your business, like your services in your business, okay? Even your career, all of these things are energy, and all of them can contribute to you. Nature contributes to us. We know that. Go for a walk by the water and tell me that your body doesn't feel absolutely amazing after you walk by the water. Tell me when you go into nature and you go into the forest and you go in, you're by the trees. Tell me that that doesn't contribute to you. We know that it contributes to us. We can tell that. Science can tell us that by actually tapping into our body and the cells in our body and see the cells in our bodies change when we are in nature. Everything, every single solitary thing can contribute to us. Are you willing to allow your dreams to contribute to you, or are you turning them off? Are you cutting them off and not receiving from them? Are you giving up on your dreams? Would you ever give up on a child? No, you wouldn't give up on a child. You wouldn't walk away from a child and go, you're not good enough. No mother or father that is a loving, caring human being would walk away from their child no matter what they did. They just wouldn't. If parents did that all over the world, every single solitary person would be an orphan because there's so many times where, realistically, we should have given up. But that's what we're doing to our dreams. We're giving up on them and we're turning them down. And we're playing out this reality's point of view that we need to be realistic with our dreams. Keep turning up your dreams, my friend. I'm telling you, turn them up, turn them up, turn them up, turn them up. Follow them. You do not need to know how they're going to look. You do not need to know what all of the steps are. And I am a very linear person when I am in the creation. I have been. I can do linear extremely well. It's a capacity of mine. But I have also learned and honed my ability to follow my dreams. I have honed my ability to take one step and then the next step and so on and so forth. I no longer require to see the entire creation out in front of me. Because when we insist upon seeing that, oftentimes we won't get started. So if you are willing to allow the dreams to contribute to you and you are willing to follow the nudges of your dreams, you can create beyond your biggest imaginations. When I first started many years ago in radio, I had no idea. I had no idea where it would take me. I had no conclusion. I dreamed of bringing my energy really to contributing to others. I desired so much to coach with people, and I desired so much. I've always had this huge desire to contribute to people who were sad or stuck or they couldn't see the brilliance of who they be. I had such a huge desire on my heart to do that. And because I stayed in the energy of that desire, radio shows came to me. It was off the cuff. I wasn't going out there looking for it. It was somebody contacted me and asked me had I ever thought about doing this. And I had for a split second, but didn't give it, quote unquote, realistic thought, right? And I stepped into it. And then after that, it started to unfold into another possibility. And before I knew it, I had a couple years of doing radio under my belt. And then the next thing I know, I was producing. And I just thought, well, this is just going to be another service that I add to my business. And shortly after that, within 6 months, I'm looking at actually being the owner of a platform, like the least owner of a platform. And that's how I started really into expanding. And then I got to a point about 2.5 years ago where it's like, okay, what am I doing with this? And started to ask some bigger questions and started to follow my desire of expanding, big time expanding my possibilities with radio and what my dreams are. And in 2017, one of my big dreams came to fruition when I launched the Inspired Choices Network. And we're expanding again and again and again. We're always in the energy of what else is possible, what else is asking. And in about a week, we're going to make a new announcement of a new creation that we've got coming. And I'm super stoked about it. And I'm not in conclusion around what it is, but I just know that it's another level of the dream. Are you willing to feed the dreams in you? Are you willing to play in the possibilities and never turn you down? Are you willing, my friends, to know what you know, what you knew as that young child when you were dreaming and somebody told you to stop dreaming, to pay attention, to focus? Are you willing to tap back into the energy of what that person knew, of what that child knew, and bring it into your world now? The dreamers will change the world because they know something and they're willing to be something that so many others are not. My friends, I desire for you to dream bigger than you've ever imagined. I would love, love, love to have you turn up your dreaming, and I would love to contribute to you. If you have something that you would like to bring to fruition, contact me. Let's do a 30-minute session together. Email me, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca, and we'll do a 30-minute session together, and we'll see how we can turn up your dreaming even greater. I am so grateful each and every one of you have connected, and thank you so much for the contribution that you are being in the world. Please, my friends, follow your dreams. Turn them up. The world desires more dreamers. The world requires us to step into having and being the brilliance that we be. Until next week, my friends, remember, you can always make another choice. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.